Yeah, hi, everyone. Hello and welcome to the Performance and Mindset interview series. I'm your host today, Andy McDowell, and today I'm joined by Rob Achten, who is a co-founder at Animals Like Us. Hello, Rob.
Hi there, Andy. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good, thanks, mate. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. I guess just in terms of opening, would you like to kick us off with a brief background as to who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure. Um, so yeah, I'm a I grew up in Wellington and went to design school, so that's kind of my profession. Had a design business for about 10 years, a graphic design business. Had 10 years in the apparel industry. Was one of the early guys in Icebreaker, the outdoor clothing company.
Awesome.
And then had a stint working in the US in Portland, running the design team for Icebreaker, and then came back about 11 years ago, settled into Hawke's Bay, and I had a business doing customer insights and brand development work for 4 or 5 years, and then came up with an idea to start a pet food company. So that was about 5 years ago.
Yeah, the story on your website is fascinating. It looks like a really cool concept and brand is amazing. But obviously, you're involved with Icebreaker. You know all about that. It's a phenomenal brand. Was there an initial spark that led you to take an entrepreneurial or business ownership leap?
Yeah, I guess as a designer and as the business I had, I was a consultant working for businesses, and I was never fully satisfied with kind of doing work for somebody else, providing a service. I always kind of had this dream that if I came up with the right idea, I'd like to give it a go myself. So I had that in the back of my mind for quite some time. And then actually, when I moved to Hawke's Bay, I had a 10-acre block and I did the whole rural sort of lifestyle thing, got a couple of dogs. Um, I was also at the stage of my life where I'd previously been doing um, um, a lot of sporting activities, and I was slowing down, and I was starting to think about health and just looking after myself. And I started thinking about diet and um, just looking after myself really, and the foods I was eating. So there was this parallel between more of a consciousness about health and what I was eating. And then I had a couple of dogs, and I was kind of thinking about what was good for me, and at the same time, I was thinking about, what should I feed my dogs. So kind of it just sort of slowly happened where I was experimenting with um, different dog food. Not really happy with kind of what I was able to buy. Started to improvise. At the same time, I was talking to my old boss at Icebreaker, Jeremy, who had just left Icebreaker, just sold the business. And he was doing exactly the same thing. He had a dog, he was experimenting. So the two of us
Oh, wow.
got talking, and ideas started to pop up. And we were comparing notes. So that was kind of the early days, about 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. And we were just hacking dog food. We were trying to come up with something based on our beliefs of what dogs should be eating, a more natural diet. More a diet that they were more designed to
Yeah,
eat. So
cool.
that was the beginning points, and we came up with something that we thought this doesn't really exist, and we've both enjoyed working together in our past life at Icebreaker. I was the creative director, he was the founder. We worked really closely together. We enjoyed that sort of creative um, chemistry. And we just got excited about dog food and decided to start a business. So that was about 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Obviously you're very experienced entrepreneur if you put it that way. In terms of like, and for the benefit of the audience and other people who are in that entrepreneurial journey, are there or what are the common misconceptions about running a business and how do you address them?
Um, well, I'm not sure if it's a common misconception, but my experience was that it's exciting coming up with an idea and the process of, and you can imagine kind of the end state, but the process of making it happen, the whole manufacturing piece, was a real grind, and for kind of thought I had it worked out, then it didn't work out. Sort of lots of step backs, kind of a roller coaster ride of highs and lows. Um, I guess my strength was more on the branding marketing side. I didn't know anything about how to get it made. I didn't know anything about food manufacturing or the supply
Mm.
chain.
Yeah.
So you just dive in and you end up having to kind of know almost about every part of the business. You have to learn really quickly.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and there's lots of, you present it to customers, quite a few rejections along the way, and you have to kind of learn to pick yourself up and persevere. I think that's what I've come to realize is the businesses that are successful are the ones that have the founders that are successful are the ones that have a lot of determination and perseverance. They just keep on going, and if they get a no, they kind of work out, the way around the no. There's always another way to solve a problem. So that's been my experience over the last 5 years.
I think that will be very confidence building for other entrepreneurs to hear that, because yeah, that resilience factor is massive, eh?
It is, yeah.
Hmm. So, given that, how do you maintain a work-life balance as a business owner, as an entrepreneur? And do you have any personal rituals or habits that keep you motivated and focused?
Work-life balance. I've never been particularly good at that. And the reason being is I've always really enjoyed my work and I've always been passionate about it. So, and I'm quite goals, I'm driven by setting goals. So
Right.
if I if I set a goal, I'm all in. I don't tend to. I'm pretty focused on, I'm kind of 110%. So yeah, I've always kind of, uh, my life work balance has always been a little bit out of kilter. But in saying that, my main way to kind of switch off is through getting out into nature. I used to run for 20 years, and
Okay.
then I sort of moved cycling. So I try to do that. I try to get out at lunchtime every day. Actually, I like to break up my day
Right.
and reset it. I might be feeling a bit tired at the end of the morning, and then I get out for a bit of exercise, and then I feel kind of reset for the afternoon. So that's my main ritual. Is Yeah, just getting outside, and I'm living in Wellington, so it doesn't take very long, and you're battered by the wind, and you're feeling alive again. Um, yeah, it's kind of a good feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. I guess that's, the theme of this series is around, the relationship between, mindset and performance and how people apply that. Yeah, so that's really good to hear. In the constantly evolving business landscape, how do you stay adaptable and open to change? And are there any specific strategies you use to remain innovative?
Um, I like to. I wish I read more. I don't read a lot, but I
No?
listen to business podcasts a lot, and I found
Mm,
them, particularly in the early days, understanding other founders building a business in the difficulties that they experience and how they overcame them. I found them pretty inspirational. So I was listening
mm,
to a lot of those. When you're starting a business, you you don't you do a lot yourself. You don't have you don't have an open checkbox to build a team, very quickly.
yeah.
But I I try to find experts and have them around the business. I try to have got quite a few advisors on expert sort of subject matters
Mm,
that we have access to, and I learn a lot from them. Um, so that's probably my main way is kind of just trying to surround myself with people that have kind of done it before, or there's something that I can learn.
mm.
That's how I go about it.
Sounds pretty wise to me. Yeah. Um, and in terms of animals like us, could you offer a glimpse into any future plans, or goals for the business? What do what's your envision of the next chapter, if you like, on your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, sure. I think if I reflect back, we're about 4 years old. We launched the brand about 4 years ago. Um, I think what we've achieved to date is we've got a really good proof of concept. We've managed to we've launched a product, wasn't perfect from day one. We've managed to tweak it, make it a bit better, work out what we needed to change to make it scale, to be able to scale the business.
Mm,
So we've got to a point where our business in New Zealand particularly is going really well. Um, we're in about 400, 450 kind of different distribution points in New Zealand, which is good. We don't need any more than that.
right.
We've started well in Australia, um, but really that's just kind of like a practice run to get things ironed out or the kinks ironed out before we tackle kind of a sizable market. And we've elected to focus on the North American market
Okay.
over the next 2 or 3 years. So we're kind of at this transition point um, where we've kind of done the practice run. Now we're jumping into the next league and trying to figure out how we're going to be able to compete with the
Mm,
big boys. And how we have to um, the learnings that we can take from New Zealand and Australia, but kind of the
mm,
things that we need to do differently on a different stage, if you like. So that's where we're at, and I'm pretty excited by that. Um, I think I can see myself living in the US again. I enjoyed that when I was with Icebreaker. I think that being able to live in kind of closer to where your consumer is and understand more your consumer and where they shop and the environments where they shop, just being closer, to the market as opposed to trying to make decisions in your office and in New Zealand a long way away. So I can see myself in a year or two moving myself and my family and my dogs to the US and just having a stint there again.
mm.
But yeah, that's kind of our focus really. We're building our strategies to kind of win in the North American market, and it won't be an overnight success. It's going to be a 3 to 5 year old goal to achieve that.
Yeah, fantastic. Um, so for people listening, I guess, especially those aspiring entrepreneurs, who are maybe just starting their journey, and facing challenges, maybe just not dissimilar to yourself, what sort of advice would you have?
I think like if your business is around selling a product, um, like ours is, I I think I think you really need to have a deep belief that your product is solving a problem and
Mm,
that your product is as good as it possibly can. There's a lot of products that are just kind of mediocre, or there's 10 other products just like it. So your
mm,
product needs to have some sort of point of difference, or you need to have some sort of advantage with your product.
mm,
And then you need to fine tune it and get it as good as possible so that when the customer buys it, they're having a fantastic experience.
mm,
So I guess my time with Icebreaker and my time with Animals Like Us, I've kind of learned the benefit of really um, kind of firstly testing it, so you kind of test it
yep,
early on, you get lots of customer feedback and you refined it. We've been doing it for years. The amount of times we've reiterated the product and the packaging to make sure that the packaging is explaining the product and that stands out on the shelf. We've done lots of consumer testing.
mm,
Uh, I think I think that's invaluable. You can spend a lot of money on marketing and branding, and if a customer buys the product for the first time and it's no good, they won't come back and buy it again. The
sure.
product has to do the job of kind of saying it's really good. The customer's going to come back and buy me. buy me a game.
Yeah,
So that certainly would be a piece of advice. Um, and I think the other bit of advice is just going back to what I said a little moment ago, which is try to develop a thick skin. You're going to get a few setbacks and you're going to get a few knockbacks.
yeah,
And early days at Animals Like Us, I had you'd get a few things not go your way and you have a few sleepless nights, and then you kind of learn that actually this is just all part of the process. You're going to have,
yeah,
this is going to happen a while back, and you get over it and you figure out a way around it, and it's happening again, and you just pick yourself up, and there's always a way for it. And so the quicker you learn about that kind of resilience piece,
yeah,
the easier.
yeah. It's tough.
Uh, yeah,
No, that's
that's my
awesome.
two bits of wisdom.
No, no, I really appreciate that, and I'm sure anyone listening in the audience would get some valuable insights and wisdom from that. So, look, great to meet you, Rob. Thank you so much for your time today. Love learning about your journey. Love learning about animals like us. Exciting future ahead, and yeah, again, appreciate your time.
That's great. Thanks, Andy. Nice talking to you.
Thank you.